Okay. Yeah, we're in the dark. We're right in front of the shelter, and there's all the tents in front of us. Windy.
Very cold.
7:45. And there's a guy. What does he have? Reflectors on?
He's wearing like winter reflective gear, but it would be very cold. It's very windy out tonight.
Very, very, very cold. I'm not walking the bridges tonight. So you hear some stories about the shelter.
Well, and apparently it's not just the men's shelter, but it's the shelter for the abused woman as well. And the other shelters require ID when you want to stay here. You have to show them government issued ID. But the problem with that is that it's quite prohibitive for somebody who's been on the street for a while. They may not have ID. They don't have an address, so they can't just get issued new ID. They can't stay at the shelter without the ID, so they can't get an income. Like, there's no social assistance to replace the ID.
And that guy just went inside the tent. There is somebody living there.
I would say there's more than one.
Okay, continue. Sorry, he just went inside the tent there. Go ahead.
Well, so it's just really prohibitive. If you don't have ID, you can't get an address. If you don't have an address, you can't get ID. And if you don't have an address, you can't get an income. But without an income, you can't get ID. So it becomes a circle, really, that people get drawn into. And the women's shelter, the shelter for the abused woman, has those problems as well. And they will try to accommodate women, but I've heard stories of women who have left with their debit cards, their ID cards, left in the home with the abused partner, and then have to return to get them so that they can get shelter.
So they get the woman away from an abusive relationship. They bring them at the shelter, and they say, oh, you don't have no ID. So you have to return
to get your ID.
To get your ID with that crazy man that's inside the house.
That's right.
You sure about that?
That is the story I've been told.
There's another one coming.
See, a lot of these people might be staying out here because you have to, when you check into the shelter every night, they send a list of the people who are staying there to the Fredericton City Police.
This guy has headphones on, so he's in the world of his own. I'd love to have the headphone. Oh yes, the Fredericton Police. Okay, say that story. So people
at night, the shelters send a list of the people staying there to the Fredericton City Police. So it's true.
What do you mean, true? The Fredericton Police?
They every single night send a list of the people who are staying at the shelter
to the Fredericton Police Force. Why?
Well, it's an agreement that they have with the city, and I'm sure it makes for really easy work for the city police. But not only does it keep people out in dangerous cold temperatures who may or may not have a criminal record, but anybody who has any experience with the police, who might be afraid of the police, then doesn't want to stay at the shelter. So you're looking at probably 20% of the population that decide not to go ahead with their application and not to stay at the shelter.
Because of the police, because the shelter contacts the Fredericton Police.
Gives their name to the police, yeah.
And they might have a record.
They might.
But,
or people with mental illness might be just too afraid to have their information given to the police.
Yeah.
It could be a nightmare situation for a lot of people with mental illness or bad experiences with the police in the past. I'm sure you'd think twice.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's all things that can keep people on the street. That's really not necessary. It's not necessary for the well-being of the customers. And I'm sure that there's workarounds. There's ways that we could assure the safety of the staff without having to go to those measures. No other cities do that. That's Fredericton. That's
oh, really?
I can't say no other cities, but it's certainly not commonplace.
So really, a person that's homeless, he's bad enough that his self-esteem is low. and mental illness, they shouldn't be saying, okay, we're going to bring your name to the police.
No, that's just terrifying people. And this time of year, it's just so cold. It's not safe for them to sleep out here anymore.
But that guy did go in that tent, and he's still in there. I thought personally there would be nobody in there. You imagine, what is he doing in there?
You'd want to fall asleep fast and stay that way so you don't feel cold, I think.
I mean, I live in a tent in front of the legislator in the cold, and I had a lantern. But my God, look at those tent move. Is there other issues?
Well, that's what I'm kind of trying to find out. There's groups that would like to be able to help people. I've heard of a group, No One Is Illegal Fredericton.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're really looking to help, but they need to find out the
Legal Fredericton, what's that?
No one is illegal.
Oh.
So it's the premise that everybody is a legal person, right? The government can't diminish your status. So,
I mean, if you're caught with if you got a record of running a bicycle on the sidewalk, I'm gonna go to the extreme there.
Well, you know that the rules are like not fair for poor people, for minorities, for people with mental illness.
No, and their justice system sucks.
Exactly. So they're just trying to help. And so if you wanted to get more information, you can look up No One Is Illegal and their Access to Fear campaign, Access Without Fear campaign, or leave some stories for Charles and let us know how bad this situation is if you have any experiences like that, so that we can see what we can do.
I'm just amazed. It's the first time I come here at night. Even the summertime I see them gather, and I often wondered, what do they talk about? You know, really, what do they talk about? There's about, right across the fence here, there's about 5-6 people in chairs. What would they be talking about?
Oh, same as the rest of us, I guess. The weather, sports, current events.
Do I know? I love to talk about me.
Well, you have good stories, though.
Good stories, all right.
Always.
Listen, it's all right. We're there with a camera, and we're saying, okay, this is the way it is, what we see. And what we talk about is it's sad, you know, like the staff here. I went at the shelter at the soup kitchen yesterday to find out, you know, usually in the old days I would go behind the wall and talk to the chef and say, okay, who's that woman in the toque, in the red toque? Or who's that guy in the red shirt? And then we'll find out who this person is. And maybe we can help. What is he or she doing in the soup kitchen? When I say, can you come here? The chef goes, what do you want? And then next thing you know, another one came and said, oh, don't cross that line, don't cross. There was no line. I'd never been there 2 months. And the other guy comes right to my face. He goes, again, what do you want? I said, forget it. My God, never mind. Go to YouTube, write Charles LeBlanc and Fredericton Community Soup Kitchen, and you'll see. But, and the head one here, what's his name again? Warren something. And it's not like Brian Duplessis. We would find out who these people are and trying to help. But now it's run like a business.
Yeah.
It's run like a business. Is they communicate with the police, like you just told me, and the next communication is in the courts.
Yeah.
There's no, but Mike Ryan works at the shelter. He's been there for about a long time, and he does fine work. But maybe it's because I'm a pain in the ass.
But the problem is, though, is that the community is coming together. There's volunteers, there's donations, keeping the stuff going to provide services for people. And there are people who desperately want those services that may actually be trying to get off the street, that may be trying to get help. And they can't because of those barriers that just cause fear, right? So we really want to work on trying to break down those barriers.
No videos would end if we don't show the facts of what a homeless person has to go through. This is what, 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, you take this car. You know how to get to the Irving?
The Irving just over here.
Over there?
Yes.
So you know you have to go around, right?
Yeah.
So meet me in the parking lot.
Are you sure?
Hey, what? Do you think we're going to be nice and cozy here and talk about a tent, the wind, and everything, but we don't give them an idea, the viewers, what's going on?
I could go with you if you want.
No, it's all right. No, you just relax. You go with the Irvings, and I'll see you there.
All right.
I'll keep this camera on. Are you all right? Everything's fine? Looks like he has a lantern in there. So those people can enjoy some nice rock and roll music. I try. That's what I say. See that again?
Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone.
Can't get no satisfaction.
Yeah, no satisfaction there. The door was open, the tent.
Okay.
and he had a little thing I held him. I said, "You okay?" Never got no answer. And he has a little. It's cold up there. So how do you do it? I mean, we have an idiot as a mayor. Don't answer that. Idiot Mayor Michael Ryan. He claimed to fight for homelessness and all that, and after he appeared, once he got elected, the worst phony. Oh, I never hated the politicians so much in all my life.
I'm still trying to go ahead with the Officer Square thing.
He's an idiot. Anyway, never mind that. But something has got to be done. Like what?
Well, I think right now what we need to do is we need to try to hear stories from people who have had problems. Let us know if it's an issue. If there's other issues that you see that are causing barriers like that, then let us know so we can try to help. And if you want more information, look up No One Is Illegal Fredericton. I know they got a Facebook. They've got
No One
all
Is
that
Illegal?
stuff. Yeah.
Facebook?
Yeah, they got Facebook, there's a website, so they'll have information there as well. You can leave a story there, contact them.
But when you're poor, nobody listens to you.
No, but this is a good group of people. I know that they've helped out other families in a pinch before, so that's the biggest thing, is just that we need to hear stories. We need to know what